Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon, and we both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. Number 11 in the country. We've got Nick behind the camera, and we're streaming live every single week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. So, this didn't last long, Sarah. The LLPA, if you don't know what the LLPA is, I find this so fascinating because this got passed back in January. And if you don't know what the LLPA is, so there was it's the from the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and it's a matrix they came up with. And what the LLPA stands for, just to give everyone some clarity on that, it means the loan level price adjustments that were made. And there was some, it was this great grid came out. I'll send Nick the grid. We can put it in on the YouTube post afterwards. And it was basically saying, like, we're going to raise fees for everybody. And it felt like people with better credit scores and more down money, their fees were getting raised versus some people with lower down payments and lower credit scores, which wasn't really the case. And this got passed in January, so nobody says anything about it. And then May 1st, it's supposed to get enacted. And here we are 2 weeks later, and this got rolled back. It's unbelievable to me. So what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that from, when it was passed here back in January, I don't recall really anybody mentioning anything about it. And then there certainly was some hype on it here. And it said in the article there was a lot of misinformation that they had to try and overcome and correct, which, caused a problem because once people had, some of the false claims in their head, it was difficult to get those out. A lot of people, were not happy about it. It sounds as though like it did give lenders a difficult time trying to factor this in,
they had
which is ultimately why they were able to go in and roll it back. So I think that when it comes from the people that are actually putting together the mortgages and approving these and running it, if they're saying it's not working, those are the correct people to listen to.
I mean, it looked like it was just another fee increase is kind of what happened. I'm not really surprised this happened. And it's, the challenge I have with this is that everyone gets up in arms, but they should have been talking about this in January and February, not like right when this was supposed to get implemented. So, this is something where, it's one of those government decisions that really doesn't make a lot of sense. Right. And then all of a sudden it gets rolled back. I mean, this was not surprising to me. I mean, it took 2 weeks. Like, it's kind of a joke. I mean, why even the manpower, the time, the effort to do all that's where I don't really get it.
So is it ever coming back? Like, does rolled back mean it's gone or it's being taken back to be reevaluated and then come out again sometime down the line?
So here's what the Mortgage Bankers Association said, and who knows, I guess is the best way to answer that. So the proposed fee was unworkable for lenders and would have confused borrowers and undermined the customer experience, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. We're pleased that the FHFA, that's the Federal Housing Finance Agency, engaged with industry stakeholders, recognized the negative impacts of the fee, and decided to rescind its implementation. So it sounds like it's done for good. Okay. And the MBA urges the FHFA to continue its engagement to improve clarity and transparency regarding the pricing framework. So
it almost sounds like maybe they should have discussed this with them prior to even rolling it out to begin with.
I mean, a logical person would say that, Sarah, and unfortunately, government organizations don't necessarily follow logic. So, this to me is almost like a non-story. I'm glad to see it got rolled back because I think people were up in arms about it, and it did make. I mean, we have a team meeting in the beginning of every month to talk about what's going on in the market. And this was one of the hot topics, and the lenders that came, they were like, "Do you know how many calls we've gotten about this? This has been problematic, and we're constantly fielding these things." That's all the more reason to make sure you engage with someone that's a real knowledge broker in their industry so they can explain to you what all this stuff means. So I don't know. There's really a whole lot more to talk about here. So what I wanted to shift to was what happened in the market this past week. So if you look at the housing market tracker from Housing Wire and Logan Motoshami, we saw a bump in inventory this past week by only 662 homes, so not very many.
Right.
And new listing data is still trending at all-time lows. Are you feeling that in the market right now? That's the first part of this, but inventory has just been a constant talking point for years now.
So yes and no. Like, it's kind of strange because I feel like the couple like hot buyers that I'm working with now that are like we're not just like occasionally going out to showings, but we're like continuing stuff. I mean, it's not like they have like tons and tons to choose from, but I feel like every couple days, like something else is coming up that has been, on the radar. I've also noticed in some cases, some of the coming soons have been up for longer, like, more than a week. Like earlier this month, I feel like there were several that came up for coming soon for like the end of the month. Or I guess you can have them up there for 3 weeks. So I guess
21 days is the bright MLS regulation.
Yeah. So I guess they put it up like right when they could to have that 3-week lead up. So maybe it's a little bit, not like confusing there, but some of the places that we've seen are ones that we haven't been able to get into yet. So they're still kind of on the radar for future places to take a look at. And then combined with, the occasional new ones that are popping up that are active and you can get into, it does feel like there are things on the market to go and see.
So I would argue this is going to be super local first and foremost. I mean, you look at what's happened in our market. I chart like every week by week what goes on, and if what we saw last week was about 800 homes, including properties that came back to the market, went active or were coming soon in Chester, Delaware, Montgomery counties, Philadelphia, and Bucks. So that's a 5-county area, and that was the highest number I've seen all year. So locally, we're definitely seeing that. And really the best day to look at this is going to be Fridays because that's when you see that new pop. Even if you take the 7-day same sample size here, we've seen 244 coming soon listings, 401 new active, and 70 back to active. So that really puts us at like 710 or whatever that number is. So we've seen some consistency here, more so in our market. And the back to active is interesting because I find there's a lot of people, they're getting these houses and they're kind of getting a little squirrely and blowing out of the deals right away. I mean, and being the backup offer may not be a bad place to be. We can unpack that in a second. But I agree with you. It seems like there's more ability to go get a home now than there was a month or two ago.
Right. And I mean, I think that people are like, speaking of the back to active, I mean, I just had a call with an agent yesterday who was more than happy to, I have one of my clients tends to keep finding himself liking homes that are under contract. And there was one in particular that he had wanted to look at, and I reached out to the agent just to see if we could, maybe get in and take a look. The contingency period was going to be up next week. I saw that there were home inspections. It actually had been on the market before, or like under contract, came back, under contract again. So they were more than happy to say, yeah, you can come through and put together something or have something ready to go in case anything falls apart here, which I feel like is a little bit of a different tone than what you were sometimes
for sure.
seeing in the
I totally
past,
agree.
where it was just like, nope, we're done.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think that the people are starting to get it because the demand's starting to wane a little bit. Some of this pent up demand, these people have bought houses at this point, and it's the rates have created a little bit of hesitation. I would caution sellers here because if rates do come down later in the year, and I think they're going to be pretty stable and maybe have some movement in the second half of the year, they get back into the fives, you're going to see a lot more movement, and you're going to see more sellers come to the market. And I think that's the challenge in a lot of cases because these people still have a 3 or a 4 locked in. It's 65% of the country has a 3 or a 4 interest rate handle, and they're not bringing it to the market. But again, this is all super local. You're talking about opportunities you're seeing. I'm seeing the same stuff. So, I would caution anyone that's looking at this data to make sure they know what's going on locally. And the Northeast especially, it was very barren the first quarter in terms of inventory, and now it's picked up a good bit here so far in the second quarter.
Yeah.
With that, we also saw mortgage rates falling last week, and they kind of settled in around 6.5. It seems to be where that number's coming. Or is that giving your clients more stability, knowing that rates aren't like bouncing around as much as they were even 50, 60 days ago?
I think so. And I think I'm just, really trying to reiterate to them, like, this is kind of where they are. This is where we're expecting them. Like, there's going to be a little bit of a dance, but we're not expecting any like major increases or decreases. So let's use this number and work with it and know that this is roughly where we're going to be sticking to.
Love it, love it. And I think that's the stability is what a lot of consumers want, especially you think about it like first-time buyers, right? They're not affected by rates as much, and they're still looking to go out and transact. And we did see purchase application data. It rose 5% week over week, and I think that's related to the Fed meeting and how rates lowered. So we've seen the market kind of chug along here. I mean, I'm happy to see any sort of blip in inventory right now where it's going up. I think that's one of the most important things we can chart here. So what do you think happens next week? Are we going to see more homes, less homes? I mean, we've been kind of riding a steady wave here of about 750 to 800 some new homes coming to the market a week in the greater Philadelphia area. What's your prediction here for next week, Sarah?
I think it's going to like ride right around the same.
Okay.
I think we're going to still see new listings obviously coming to the market, but I think we're kind of going to stay on course here with about what we saw this week.
So I hope we see more. Yeah. I would like to see more. I think that's what we kind of want to happen here. If you look at new listing weekly data for May over the past 3 years, this is by far the lowest amount of new listing data. The flip side to this, where this can be a little misleading, is not as many homes are selling right now. Mm-hmm. Sales are down 30-some% year over year. So there's more stuff hanging on the market. And to your point, Sarah, I think that's where we're seeing the opportunities come into play because these homes aren't selling in a day or two. And when they sit on the market a little longer, the sellers get a little more anxious and are more open to working with folks.
Right. And I mean, also when you do start seeing some of the price drops, not that I've seen a ton of them, but I've been noticing a few. So, just kind of like finding out where your opportunity is for your buyers and how to kind of make it work.
Well, and you mentioned there's almost like it is and it isn't, right? Mm-hmm. Or it's almost like two markets happening right now. Right. The home's priced right. And the first place is going to get soft is probably going to be the premium market because there's just less buyers for those types of homes. And then you get to that medium price when that's where it gets really competitive. I mean, anything from 300 up to like 800, 900 is where it's very competitive. And then depending on where you are, it kind of wanes off a little bit. Philadelphia is a drastically different market. We see inventory there at 2.7 some months right now versus just about a month in the suburbs. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to get someone that knows your local market and can explain it to you, because if that person can't do that, I mean, there's a lot of mixed messaging.
Right.
And it's almost like case by case. It's there's no rule or rhyme or reason to it right now. It's a little bit of a weird market.
It is. I mean, and it's also what's kind of crazy. I think yesterday I also had a call with an agent. I had a sale recently it has not settled yet. And there was another home in the same neighborhood that went up that has now been on the market for significantly longer than the one that I had was. And he was trying to structure an offer and, just reached out to, obviously you're not going to give exact information as to what happened with the sale, but just like a ballpark, like a direction for like, yes, it went over or yes, it went significant, just so that they could kind of put something together. And it was just interesting because we had a ton of interest on my listing, quite a few offers, and one right up the road, very comparable, just wasn't having quite the same amount of heat. So you can't just blanket everything as like, this is how it's going to go. Like everything is so specific to like, street, house, everything.
I agree. And we're seeing that in some of these markets, you might have timed it just right. When the new home hits the market and it's priced less or priced more and not moving. So, and this is where I really caution sellers is that waiting could cost you money right now. And this is the first time we've been able to say that since probably about 2020. And if there's going to be more inventory that comes, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of that. And that's the biggest thing sellers should be aware of now is that if they're thinking about moving, I'd be having conversations about what's going on in your market with whomever you can find locally. It's going to be an expert that knows what they're talking about and is a knowledge broker.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We are going to talk about another fascinating topic. Lawrence Yun came out and eviscerated the Fed, the chief economist from NAR, along with some really strong comments from Robert Dietz, the chairman of the National Home Builders Association. And then we've got Stacey Harbaugh here from my kitchen assistant. We're going to have her explain her business. It's a lifesaver. If you ever had thrown a party at your house and you felt like you never got to actually go to the party, she's a great person to talk to. So we'll be right back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America is equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us. It's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender, NMLS 128501.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line.
Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. We've got Nick Wolf behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018, number 10 in the country. And we're streaming live every single week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group and make sure to subscribe and follow. So, in more economic news, these are Sarah's favorite segments, by the way, for the listening audience. Last week, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, they were hosting their Realtors legislative meetings. Thank God I did not go to that. I mean, if you ever want to, like, as a side note, if you ever complain about NAR rules, go to complain at that meeting. Don't complain and not do anything about it. Like otherwise, if you're not taking action, you can't do anything.
Right.
With that in mind, Lawrence Yun was there, and he's an interesting guy because he kind of rolls out of bed every couple of months. They pay him a high six-figure salary, and he makes some comments. And typically, they're very realtor friendly. Big surprise because he works for NAR. He's the chief economist. So. He took the stage and he discussed the current real estate market, and he got pretty aggressive. This is one of my favorite quotes that he's made. He basically, on stage, he was pretty clear how he felt about the Fed's most recent rate hike, stating it was unnecessary. Specifically, he said inflation will not reignite. Inflation will come down closer to 3% by the year's end. Inflation has calmed down while rents are still accelerating. He went on to say aggressive rate hikes have hurt both regional banks and the housing market, and he explained that this is starting to calm. And then he went on about rent growth will start to decrease because apartment construction has reached a 40 to 50-year high, and while this will help with the CPI data, the Consumer Price Inflation Index, it doesn't help with the issue of low housing inventory.
Right.
Basically, he said the Fed didn't need to do what they did a couple weeks ago.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree. I mean, even though we expected this coming and it was kind of baked into the mortgage rates, and we didn't see any major movement there. Yeah, I would absolutely agree that it was unnecessary, and I would very much like them to kind of just chill out for a second and let things run their course a bit. So yeah.
So the majority and the masses agree. I don't think a lot of people felt it was necessary. And it looks like right now, Sarah, there's an 83.2% chance, according to the CME Group FedWatch tool, that we will see no rate increase at the next meeting in 28 days, 22 hours, and 33 minutes. So
We'll have to keep our eye on that.
we will. Well, I wouldn't even look at this thing until like a week out and see what happens. And as the more data comes out, that's going to be pretty important. And a lot of people have been saying these rate hikes went on too long. I mean, Logan Motoshami had been talking about that months ago. He was pretty clear about it. He did eviscerate them, in my view, in terms of just saying this wasn't necessary. However, I found the more interesting quotes coming out of this were from Robert Dietz, the chief economist at the National Association of Home Builders. He was part of the same forum, and he talked about some of the challenges builders are facing. And the biggest of them is the increase in the ability to increase the amount of affordable housing inventory. And the Fed's rate hikes have made it more expensive to build new construction. And he goes on to say it's impossible to build entry-level housing when you've got, before putting a shovel in the ground, $200,000 in regulatory costs. And I mean, you look at new construction. I mean, you're in the market every day, right? Are you seeing any affordable new construction in the median price points, particular? I know you've sold some new construction. I know the prices. Median price points. Are you seeing anything new that is coming to the market anywhere?
No. You go in and you're like, you're clicking through the MLS and you're looking in certain areas, and you see that some new ones have popped up, and it's like, oh great. And you go in and you click, and I mean, all of the new construction are well above the median price point. I mean, a lot of them are like up in the mill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I can't tell you the last time that I've seen a new construction that was right around our median price point.
Well, and the data backs this up, Sarah. So nice job on your analysis and knowing the market, because if you look at all the new construction in Bright MLS right now, I'm going to show you everything. There's 5,000 plus of these properties, and Bright MLS covers like West Virginia, Delaware, Virginia, the D.C. area, parts of New Jersey. So the average and median sale prices are, hold on, let me get to them here. I have the number from last week. I want to get a little more updated. Here we go. So the average asking price of new construction right now is $863,000. The median sale price, or the average sale price that we see, is about double. It's about like, it's in like the 430 to 450 range. Mm-hmm. So it is unaffordable. And I think the challenge is that we deal with inventory constantly, right? How many buyers have complained to you about inventory that you've worked with?
I think I'm yet to encounter one that hasn't.
Yeah, so 100% of buyers, and you're doing a lot of business. So, and we're hearing this across our whole team too, of 40 some real estate agents. So everyone's complaining about inventory, and the only solve for that, because people have these low locked in rates, is really to build more. Mm-hmm. I don't know where you're going to build it. I mean, and in Philadelphia, you see some stuff coming to the market, but some people don't want to deal with the taxes down there, or and when I say taxes, I'm talking about like city wage tax and those sort of things. And then you have in the suburbs these zoning requirements with minimum lot sizes of 1 acre or 2 acres in a lot of places, and that's just as inhibitive to these builders. On top of getting slapped with all sorts of regulatory costs from the local government. So it is difficult to build these things right now.
Yeah. When the prices that are posted for like what they're listed at, that's just your base price, mm-hmm. before if you want to make any changes to it or do anything, like, it's going up from there.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want like a door, right, it's going to cost money, or you don't want vinyl flooring in your $800,000 house.
Right.
It's going to cost money. And it's like buying, I mean, they're always sold at a premium. Like if you find the gently used home, it typically won't go for as much as the brand new build because people are customizing it. The challenge is there's not enough out there in the first place. And the resale market, especially in places like the Northeast where we are, there's just not anywhere else to build. And you look at, we have a couple new construction developments across the street from our office. If you've driven by the Ventry job, the old Edgemont Golf Course, they have these huge lot sizes there. They could have built way more homes.
Right.
I'm sure that was a zoning issue.
Yeah.
And the local governments, the local municipalities, they don't want to bend on these things. So there's like this whole cycle of factors going on why you don't see more building happening right now.
Right.
So do we see affordable housing coming back? I think this is a big challenge. I mean, this is something a lot of people aren't talking about right now.
Honestly, if things keep trending the way that they are, like, I don't see how we could.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of people moving west right now from our marketplace. I mean, they're going out to where you're from, Lancaster, or doesn't help our market, but they're moving out other places because what's been happening is that we're in a spot now where it's just so challenging and there's not much out there. So, Lawrence Yune's got some pretty clear opinions about all this. He thinks that based on affordable housing and what's going on, that there's going to be a real challenge here. Obviously, I think the home builder comments are even more intriguing. So what's your takeaway from this? I mean, what's the Fed going to do now? I mean, you said they hope you hope they don't go any further. I mean, these comments are coming out from all these experts. People, again, they like home price increases because they're good for homeowners.
Right.
And at the same time, there's an affordable housing issue. Do you see any sort of action being changed here? Are local governments going to bend? I mean, is the Fed going to continue their aggressive rate hikes? Tell me your predictions.
So I think that the Fed's going to cool down with the aggressive rate hikes, hopefully for, not just the next Fed meeting, but hopefully that'll be something that continues for a bit. For the affordable housing, I mean, I think if the different townships can kind of come to terms, and I mean, I don't know who would be the person that would need to go and present this to him and encourage being able to do new construction at a more affordable price point, but then also find the right builder that's going to be willing to step in and do that. But that's not something that's going to be an immediate, even if the right people go and present these things, this is going to be a process.
Mm-hmm.
So for the foreseeable future, I think it's going to be a little bit sticky.
I don't see this changing anytime soon because have you ever dealt with a local township before?
I'm trying to think. Not really.
So they had we used to live in Ardmore and they built that station center there, these apartments. They already had zoning approval, and the neighbors came out anyway and so this is all done. It was ready to go. They had a township meeting till 4 a.m. I can't imagine ever being there, but people wanted to fight this. And the challenge is the people that already have houses, they don't care.
Right.
They're happy that they're protecting their neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some of these townships, especially places in Chester County specifically, where they own any house built has to have a minimum acre lot size. So
Oh, wow.
imagine someone wants to come in and build a bunch of townhomes.
Right.
That would solve a lot of these problems. If there was more just townhome inventory in the suburban markets, at least for us. Single family homes, obviously it's a little different. You need some space there. They're not building communities like places like Havertown anymore where they have the smaller lots. So let's say they want to just build a townhome community. You can't even do that in most of these places without some sort of zoning approval and going through the hearing and everything else. So until these townships loosen up, they're actually and there's tax revenue that comes in for this, by the way. There's good things that come in when people move to your area.
Right.
And with that and the cost of money right now and rates aren't going down until people really start dying or downsizing or they're moving out of the area, the baby boomers are going to keep holding on to the housing that is affordable in a lot of cases, and they're just not moving.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's tough when you're in that pocket where it's hard to find anything and they're not building anything for it.
Well, and it's then you have the builders. They don't really cooperate with agents anyway. They offer out $500 co-ops on $600,000 homes and those sort of things. Thanks to Ryan Homes, that's exactly who does that. So, I mean, it's just, and they're only building west. You don't see any new construction around here. And then you see redevelopment happen in a couple areas, but this is builders have a problem right now, and the easiest way to increase inventory is to build it because people aren't going to move when 65% of consumers have a 3 or 4% rate. I mean, it's going to have to be a life-changing event.
Right.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about your kitchen assistant, Stacey Harbaugh. I've used her before. Excellent, excellent business you want to support here, where she'll explain it all next on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
All right. We are back on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. We have Nick Wolf behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018, number 11 in the country. And we've got Stacey Harbaugh here from Your Kitchen Assistant. She is I don't know what your title is there. I know it's your company, so we'll leave it at that. Stacey, thanks for coming on, first and foremost.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So I've used Stacey personally on a couple things, with our company and, at our home. But what I find interesting is that, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Sarah. You have, people over and you think it's a good idea, and then you can't wait for everyone to leave, and you don't get to ever enjoy the event. I mean, is that something that you can ever recall in your lifetime?
Oh yeah, and you're stressed out leading up to it about the food prep and trying to calculate how much to make for the number of people, and you almost psych yourself out because you're like, no way, that's way too much food. That's insane for me to make that much, and then you pull back, and then you're like, no, I should have done it that way. So yeah, it's yeah, and then the whole time you're just trying to make sure everything's filled, and yeah.
So it sounds like Stacey has solved this problem. So Stacey, why don't you kind of talk a little bit about your company, give everyone a little bit of background, how long you've been doing it, how you got started, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, great. I've been doing this almost 8 years. We do party prep, serving, setup, and cleanup, and full on-site catering. So I am the chef owner. I did go to culinary school later in life, which was it was great because I actually went when I knew what I wanted to do with my life. So I knew I wanted to be a chef finally one day. And I love what we do. We go into people's homes at their, most special events with their closest friends and family, and we make it as enjoyable as possible for them. We give delicious food. I believe very much that you eat with your eyes first. And so my presentation is really important to me. Food signs are really important. Food safety is really important. And I customize the menu based on exactly what the host wants. So I don't just have a standard menu I send you and it's, $65 a person. It's not like that. You look at a actually very long menu and you can choose everything from there. And you can say, hey, we really love the harvest salad, but we're allergic to nuts and we don't like gorgonzola. So can you put feta on? And I'm going to make exactly what you want for your event. So it's just important to me that we customize it. I customize with themes and colors. And I absolutely love a good theme. Love
a good theme. How far out do you typically need to book you or start talking to you about the themes and kind of
as
zoning in on
far
things?
as possible? I'm already booked the first 3 Saturdays in December.
Wow.
So I would say
from now through December?
No, the
okay.
first 3 Saturdays in December.
Okay.
Popular times, June is booked solid.
Yeah.
I have 8 events in June.
Yeah.
And honestly, ever since COVID, all the events are big.
Yeah.
They're huge. Everybody wants to party. Everybody wants to celebrate. People have missed being together.
Mm-hmm.
I think we took it for granted before, and now people just really want to get together. And the summer months, especially because people are outside and they're still in that mindset of we don't have to be inside, and some people still mask and stuff.
Sure.
But outside parties are just huge. I don't have any parties less than 50 people in June, and most of them are up to 80, and more. And I just did a Derby Day party that was 230 people.
Oh my gosh. So what, I guess how accommodation wise for number of people, minimum, maximum, do you have numbers there?
I actually did a private chef dinner for 2 people during COVID.
Okay.
So most private chef dinners are, 6 to 10 people.
Yeah.
And then we go more buffet. As it gets larger. The only events that I don't do are formal sit-down plated weddings. I do a lot of weddings, but they're more informal.
Got it.
But not the very formal seated plated. But I'll do the bridal shower, the rehearsal dinner, the baby shower, the engagement party, everything surrounding the wedding, or a wedding that's a little more informal.
Okay.
So you want to get in touch with Stacey. It's yourkitchenassistant.com. So how did the company get started? What gave you this idea? Because I think it's I mean there's a lot of copycat businesses out there in a lot of cases, but I was kind of this is something that obviously has grown a lot, especially since I've gotten to know you.
Yeah, it's gotten huge. Last year was actually our busiest year ever coming out of COVID. I can't believe that, but it's fabulous. And I guess part of it is what I just said, that people just really want to get together. But it started on a Saturday in June in 2015. And I had already, through culinary school, people would contact them and ask for somebody to come and do party help. And they would pay them $25 an hour, and they'll just come, prep, set up, serve, and clean up. And so I started doing that. And I did it a lot. And I said to my husband one Saturday, I was like, you know what? I should probably have a website. People are people really want this. And so I got within a day, I had a website. I was on Instagram, LinkedIn, everything. And I started to do it. And then I started to book. And as soon as I posted it, all my friends were like, hey, will you cater? And I was like, sure. And I started catering. And as it just grew very organically, and I just started purchasing more and more and more equipment as I needed it. At this point, I have 4 giant catering refrigerators and 2 giant freezers, and I have 3 ovens, and it's just grown huge. We have 7 people working. I have 7 people working with me now.
That's awesome.
So it's just been very organic, and most of it is, I work an event, and then everybody who's there, it's word of mouth. They've been there, they've seen what I do, it's personal referrals too.
Yeah.
Been great.
Which those are the best,
Yeah, because it's all about trust. I mean, what I do is really about trust. I'm coming into your kitchen, right? I'm coming into your kitchen with your closest friends and family. So you need to have somebody there you trust.
Right.
Well, and when you think about this, I mean, and I think that the way you market this, I think it's pretty smart because everyone has had like, oh, I'm going to have like someone over for a barbecue. I'm going to have like 15 or 20 people over. And it is miserable, if you ask me. I mean, it's like the holidays. Like you don't even sit down until, and I know you do a lot of holiday work as well. It is one of the most challenging things having people over your house. And then you're like, I'm never doing this again, right? I mean, it constantly happens that way. So I find that to be, you know, pretty important. So, you know, you said you like love a good theme. Could you give us a couple of examples of like events you do to give the audience an idea? So like the stuff you'd be available for. I'm hearing book in advance is very important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like in June, I have 6 graduation parties, and so the themes, I'll say to them, do you want the high school they're graduating from or the college they're going to? And so right there, I've got the logos, I've got the colors, and I'll match, the utensils, and I'll match all the linens on the buffet, the food signs. So I really have a good time with that. I've done some really fun themes. I did a little first birthday, and it was barnyard, and which sounds very simple, but it was so much fun. I had all these adorable little farm animals, and I just went crazy with it. And the napkins were, red and white gingham with the red utensils, and all of the linens were picnic. It was just so much fun, and the pictures, it just looked great. I loved it.
I hate doing that stuff. I don't know about you. I mean, you got a young daughter at home, Sarah. So do you get all partied out? Or I mean, I think this is like a legitimate thing. Like people don't feel like they're able to. Well, Stacey's headphones here. All good. So it's so much work throwing these things, and then you like everyone comes over and they try to talk to you. You're like, leave me alone. And
well, we just did Maddie's second birthday party at our house the other weekend, and I think there were about like 60 people there.
Oh my God!
And actually, it went very well. Thank God the weather held out.
Yes.
So like that was the most important. But leading up to it, like because I don't do that very often, like
It's very stressful.
just wondering also like, is there like some major items I'm missing right
Yeah.
now? Like, I like thought that I planned through things, but
Definitely.
like I don't do this all the time. So yeah.
And I actually always say to people at the end when they come in the kitchen, and it's spotless. It's cleaner than when we got there.
Ah, so
And
nice.
they go, oh my God. And like that actually like cracks me up, because I do think I make delicious food, and I think other people think that too.
Yeah, but
However,
cleaning up is the worst.
the cleaning up
Yeah,
is the
it's
worst.
horrible.
You're up till late. When we have events at my house, I say to my husband, I wish I had a me.
Yeah.
Because we're the ones doing it. It's just so much work. You're tired. And you've been probably drinking, and you just want to just be done with it.
Right.
And what we'll do is, we set everything up, we serve it, and then we clean it up, and I wrap everything up in to-go containers. So you literally have everything in your refrigerator at the end of the night, and you don't have to do anything.
When
And-
I think even down to like some of the little things, I'm sure as you're like putting the food out and placing it, like this sounds dumb, but like knowing where to put what for
Mhm.
like how people would get things
Yeah.
and what makes
Right.
sense and
Right.
where to put, even like where to grab your plates and then where should the utensils
Right.
be and how often
Right.
should you place things different
And we
spots.
refill the whole time too.
Right.
And also trash and recycling. And people are always mixing up trash and recycling, and
Yeah.
it gets a mess, and then somebody spills, and like you don't have to worry about that because
Right.
we do the whole thing. And we're doing the food, and we're doing the cleanup.
Yeah.
And it just, the whole point is so that the host can just enjoy their own event.
Right. Now I'm looking at, so I was on your Facebook looking at some parties that looked great. I'm also looking at your website. This is like cracking me up. This dog themed party, was that for a dog or for a person that wanted a dog themed party?
That dog theme, that was actually my daughter's bat mitzvah.
Oh, fun.
And I did the centerpieces for that. And I
Very
did
cute.
like all of the decor for that one. Yeah.
Very
That was really fun. And there's one on there that's baseball too. I did all those centerpieces too. Normally I don't do centerpieces, but I can.
Okay.
But that's sort of how I stage my my own, food tables as well.
Yeah, no, your stations always look very cool. It's not just like food
No.
slapped out there.
Never.
Like the thought and detail
Right.
that goes into everything.
Yeah,
like,
we're not just putting like a cardboard box under which a lot of, old school caterers do. They put
Yeah.
like a cardboard
Mhm.
box under a tablecloth to make different levels.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
we're a little more creative than that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really, really fun boards and serving dishes and serving pieces, and we bring all of that. I don't need to use anything in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I come with my own toolbox, my own knives, my own dish rack, everything. You know, basically, we could do this in a parking lot if we have to.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you
I
think-
love working in nice homes and meeting people. Actually, that's my favorite thing is that it's never the same thing. I'm never just walking into a cubicle. I'm constantly meeting new people, going new places, and every single event is a challenge.
Yeah.
Because, you know, somebody's oven might be too thin or somebody's oven might not be working that well, or you have 10 people trying to stand around you, or there's always some challenge. And I actually get a kick out of overcoming those challenges and making it the best event possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you're planning out the menus and stuff in advance, but obviously for a lot of the items, you would only be able to get those like a short time before the party. Have you ever had it happen where like you plan out this whole menu and then like you had to change it last minute because stuff wasn't available?
Yeah. Well, during COVID.
Well, yeah.
During COVID, yeah. But we plan a menu and it's based on an estimated guest count. And then they have until a week before to change the guest count. So exactly 1 week before you can change the guest count and I can adapt. But once I start purchasing the food and making everything, it's really hard to change it. It's easier to add food than to take away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, during COVID, I would walk into a store and, hey, guess what? There's no peanut butter anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. And I'm at 6 stores. Same thing with cream cheese. There was a cream cheese shortage. Guess what? A lot of dips, a lot of things are made with cream cheese, and you don't realize how much until you can't get it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Crazy. And the prices of things have changed.
Well, yeah. I mean, we talk about inflation a lot on this show, and I mean, it's wild the cost of. I mean, I think there was even a couple not maybe this year or last year around 4th of July. It was the beef prices like went up like an insane amount, and people were freaking out about hamburgers. So, so you've got this business, right? You do a lot of things differently here in terms of how personalized it is. So for someone that's listening, they've got an event coming up. They've got maybe some sort of gathering coming up. And they're on the fence about what to do, like what's going to make their experience with you a lot easier, so that and maybe explain kind of your points of difference between yourself and like your typical caterer.
I mean, I think typical caterers have a menu and a set price, and they're gonna give you a package that you choose from. And I just don't. I'm gonna customize it for basically exactly what you want. The other thing you're really gonna get that's different with me is I go to every single event. So if you're on the phone with me and you tell me, that your child has a shellfish allergy, I'm at your event and I'm going to know 100% that your child has that allergy. If you say that, you have a magician coming at a certain time, I'm there. I know that. I spoke with you. So I think that's the difference. I'm also making the food so people can, ask a question. Is egg in this? We just did the Derby Day party and somebody said, is egg in the mac and cheese? And, my staff can just come right to me because I'm right there. So it's just very personalized, and it's just, I think, a different level of service that we try to provide. And I look at every single event as my most important event.
So again, you can visit Stacey at yourkitchenassistant.com. If you're interested in booking her, you better hurry up because June's already booked, apparently.
June's crazy.
July may be available. August possibly. Holidays, good luck. Stacey, anything else you want to add in here?
I love what I'm doing. I really do. I just really enjoy it. I'm so thankful for all the people that have had, have used us before. Tom, you have definitely been a great supporter. I love doing what I'm doing. And so it's a pleasure to work these events and have everybody enjoy their own event. I get a kick out of it. It's fun.
So we got a couple more minutes here. So what kind of you mentioned like a couple things, like graduation parties in the house, like maybe give a rundown of the things that you've done to give people some ideas, because there's all sorts of reasons people show up at your house.
Absolutely. Baby showers, bridal showers, graduation, first birthday, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, 60th. Like I did a 51st birthday, believe it or not, because one was during COVID.
Yeah.
Retirement parties, I don't know did I say engagement? Anything surrounding a baby, baby showers, the communion, the confirmation, the christening, baptism.
Bar mitzvahs? You do bar
I
mitzvahs?
actually have done some bar mitzvahs.
There you
I did
go.
a bat mitzvah at a parkour rock climbing gym in Manayunk.
Oh, fun.
Yes, that might have been the craziest bat mitzvah I ever did.
I think I ran into you there at a kid's birthday party, and you were there at some other event. So very cool. All right, so you want to get in touch with Stacey. It's yourkitchenassistant.com. Stacey, thanks for coming on. You want to follow her. That's the best place to go check out her website. You can follow Sarah on Instagram. It's at Ty_Ty Time. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD, at Tom Toole the Third. And we're live every single week on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. Make sure to subscribe and follow, and we'll catch you next week on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.